Hi my fellow queens, and welcome back to my channel. So today is a really very personal video for me, even more than the other ones in this series, because this is my personal aftermath, the fallout of my weight loss. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and we'll get right into it. Yeah, so this is a very personal thing. I just want to say that ahead of time that the things that I'm mentioning today might not apply to you. So take it with a grain of salt, but this is what I experienced. So I just want to share that with you because it might be helpful to you, because I thought, wow, I wish someone would have told me. So that's that. Then I want to dedicate this video today to my husband, because as you will see when I'm going through all the things in on my list about the aftermath of my weight loss, you'll see how that must have affected him and must have affected our family and our family life. And you know, I just think he deserves some praise. Like, he is amazing. He has been amazing throughout this whole thing. He has loved me literally through thick and thin and has encouraged me and has been at my side like a rock. And that is just, I don't think I could have done it without him. So this is for you, the husband. It's just, you know, he has to sometimes drop everything and go and buy food for me. That's how it is. Yeah. So because I need my comfort foods at home, and if I see that there's a low amount of the foods that I need to have at home to feel safe and to feel good, then and I cannot go out of the house by myself because I have other stuff to do at home, or I have too many kids and I could not take all of them along to go shopping now or whatever, then he goes for me, and he brings all the vegetables he can find and whatever. So he knows already what I like. And so it's just very nice that he is so understanding, and that he knows, that he realizes that there are some issues that we'll just have to live with, and that will probably maybe get better, but maybe not ever go away completely. So thank you for for all of that. So it's just, thank you. Things I wished someone would have told me. Okay, so there are the obvious things, like your body, the changes on your body. Thank God it does not show in my face a lot that I've lost so much weight, because I don't have any flabby skin in my face, but I do. I do have some flabby skin at the rest of my body, and I worked very hard that it wouldn't be like terribly bad, working out and exercising and things like this. And I also try in my nutrition to give my body as much as I can in order for it to heal, to be able to heal himself or itself. But still, my body changed a lot. Everything that was tight and round and full before is now not that full anymore, which is good. But on the other hand, things are, it changes. Let's put it that way. It's not the way it was. And when I look at myself in the mirror at the end of the day, I cringe, because, okay, my face is still okay, good, because that is sort of my business card. But the rest of the body, let's be true for a moment. I've gone through 5 pregnancies. 2 of them were with twins, and I have lost 60 kilos, and that leaves marks and scars on your body, and that is not, it's not pretty. So I'm very glad that I am wearing modest clothes because that covers up a lot of the fallout. And I'm just going to be honest with you, you know, there is stuff underneath my clothes that for so many reasons I don't want anyone to see. So that brings, of course, a lot of issues with loving yourself, loving your body, you know, things like that. It brings so much stuff that is where you think, wow, you're finally skinny and you finally feel pretty, and then you don't, you know? And that was a huge surprise for me because I didn't expect that. For some reason, I went into this whole thing thinking, well, once I'm skinny, I'm going to feel like a bombshell and I'm going to be pretty and I'm going to be yay and everything. But no, it released a lot of conflict in myself. Once so much fat under my skin was gone, I started to suddenly get these fine lines. You know, you don't see that in camera because my makeup is good, but I'm starting to get fine lines, and especially here, that annoys me like crazy that I'm getting these lines here. But yeah, okay, so I'm almost 40 and I'm going to, okay, so I'm going to fight getting old as much as I can with good nutrition and with whatever I can do, but I'm going to age gracefully as much as I can. So that's that's what it is. But anyway, you know, you look plump before and your face is round, but you're filled out. Like I don't even know how to describe it. But then suddenly everything goes down, and yes, you are beautiful in a different way, but then like, you know, stuff starts to shift. And that's the whole thing in my whole body. Stuff started to shift. My whole body balance was gone. You have to imagine it like that. Your body has been the subject of abuse for so long by your own weight, okay? And it got used to it. And your bones adjusted to it, and your ligaments adjusted to it, and your muscles adjusted to it. They sort of always had to work against the weight to balance things out. And suddenly that is gone. And your body doesn't know what to do. And it takes a long time. It takes months and months and months. Like for me, it took almost a year to get back into some kind of a balance. And I still suffer from backaches, sometimes not every day, but most of the time on my upper back. Um, like crazy because my breasts were very heavy. Let's face it, I hope like it's okay that I'm just going to say it like it is. They were very heavy and pulled on my upper spine, and everything was heavy, and I was dragging myself, and then suddenly my body was sighing a breath of relief because I didn't have to carry that weight anymore, but suddenly the whole balance in my body was gone. And I also noticed that when I started running, like I mentioned last time when we spoke about the whole issue of exercise, I noticed then suddenly sometimes one of my legs was giving way and I started to stumble and I almost fell, and I thought, what's going on? And then I realized that my ligaments and everything was loose and they needed time to like pull back together and tighten in order to hold my joints and everything, you know. Everything was felt loose and out of balance and not good. So I thought, wow, what is this? Why did nobody tell me? Why did nobody prepare me for this? There was like, what's going on? Another aspect that happens in your body for women, at least, but I guess for men too, is the whole issue of hormones. Because when you're fat, a lot of the hormones that are being released from your brain will be absorbed by your body fat. That means that your sexual drive is probably lower because the sexual, like the hormones are being absorbed by your body fat. And once you are skinnier, they will not be so much absorbed. So a lot of stuff changes also in that regard. And you have to imagine that you change, everything about you changes, your body changes, your needs change, your mental state changes, and the rest of the family basically stays the same. So can you imagine what they go through? Because suddenly I had so many more demands in so many ways, you know, and suddenly I wanted to be seen, and suddenly I was not okay anymore with just being the wife and the mother and the one who cooks the meals and the one who is the housemaker and the homemaker. I don't know, whatever it's called. And the you know, suddenly I felt like, oh, is this a midlife crisis or is this related to the weight loss? Because I suddenly had to find myself. I didn't know who I was, and that was extremely hard. And I'm still on the way of finding myself because it is a long, long journey. You don't just snap a finger and define yourself suddenly, like in your new place, in this new situation. It's not like just buying new clothes and there you are. You have to fill those clothes, you know? So it's a very, very hard situation. And yeah, and my husband really showed so much patience with me, and so much, because sometimes I went one day I went in this direction, the next day I went in this direction, because I was lost. I had no idea where I belonged. I know I belonged in this family. I know I belonged in this country and in this belief and whatever. That, of course, like the basics were clear. But me personally, as Leora, where was I going? I had no idea. And that basically brings me to the whole issue of the changes you go through in your mind and in your soul. There is this whole issue of body dysmorphia, where you basically do not see yourself the way you are as an actual picture. You look in the mirror and you're still only seeing the bad things about yourself, and you're basically ripping yourself apart because you're not happy, you're not loving yourself, and you're still the fat girl in your brain. You're this fat girl that I used to be, is sometimes, most of the time, still sitting here talking to me. And that is also something that I thought someone should have told me, that the fat girl inside of me does not lose her weight at the same rate like I lost my weight, because she's still fat, and she still sits there and tells me stuff that is not helpful. She still tells me that I'm fat. She still tells me that I need this pizza or whatever food to bring me comfort when I'm upset. And I hate her for that. I hate her for trying to pull me down and to lose what I've worked so hard for. And I wish I could just send her away, but I have to realize that she's there and I have to deal with her, and I have to deal with that problem that is basically in my soul that will probably be there forever. And I have to face that and not like stick my head into the ground and avoid that problem, because she's there and she's talking to me every day and for most meals. And I hope I don't come across crazy. I'm just trying to be honest here, because if you're going through this issue will stay with you for the rest of your life. Like I said before, you are basically like a dry alcoholic who has to deal with that problem every single day of his life. And it's hard, it's challenging, but you need to know that. You need to know that in order to prepare yourself, because only when you know your challenges and the holes on your way, like I said to you, I told you last time, those sinkholes that that basically open up in front of your feet. Only if you know what those holes are, you can, you know, move around them and continue on your way. And I wish someone would have told me. So that's why I'm making this video. So I basically didn't know how to deal with myself once I was thin, because all I ever knew was being fat. I didn't know how to relate to myself. So that was really, 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 really hard. The other thing that happened to me personally, and I hope it doesn't happen to you, is that my obsession with food turned into different obsessions, because I'm a very intense person, and that is again a reason why life with me is very hard. And you know, thank you, husband, for sticking with me. It's I turned my obsession with the emotional eating and all of that into other obsessions. So one of my obsessions, of course, is now being extremely healthy and eating extremely healthy. So okay, so that is a good obsession, you know, but it's still an obsession, and it still brings a lot of difficulties into your life and into the life of your family. Every obsession does that. It's just a matter of fact. Another obsession is that I am super, super self-controlled. And I have to be, in order to stick with what I've reached and what I've, like the territory that I have conquered. I'm not willing to give that up anymore. But I have to be super self-controlled, and I'm conscious of myself all the time. And I never let loose. And that is also very challenging for your family, you know? I didn't recognize myself in the mirror anymore. So basically, I had to constantly look at myself in the mirror or take pictures of myself to reconfirm that this is actually me. And this is quite honestly how my photo shoots and my fashion blog started. That was my way of therapy to get through the day and to know this is you, Leora, this is you, and it's you, and it's you, and you're not fat anymore. Realize that you're not fat anymore. This is the proof. So this is how I was talking to myself, and that's why I started posting, you know. And also the positive feedback I got, and back then it wasn't so much because I didn't have a lot of exposure, but I needed that to prove to myself that this is true. It's not just, I'm not just imagining being thin, it's actually true, because that fat girl who's sitting right here kept telling me, you're not thin. What is that? You're not thin. And she's talking to me, or she used to talk to me also, for example, when I went to clothing stores, because I was used to this. The first question I asked when I went into a store was, what's your biggest size? And when they told me large or extra large, I just turned around and went out, because there was no place for me. So once I had lost the weight, I still went in the stores and reached for extra large. And the sales ladies sometimes looked at me like, are you crazy? And I didn't know. You know, I remember I remember one situation where I was in a store and I was like just going through the stuff that was hanging there, and the sales lady came up to me and she said, what size are you looking for? And I stopped in my tracks and I said, you tell me. I have no idea. What am I looking for? And I looked down down my body, and she looked at me and she said, well, I would say like small to medium. Let me give you those two sizes and then you see. And I thought, small? You're trying to be like sarcastic or something? And and yeah, I bought the size small in the end. And I thought that was so weird, because in my mind I still had extra large. So you see where I'm going? It's very hard to kick that fat girl out of your brain. And today I know that I have size small till medium, depending on the brand and whatever and the cut. But even this what I'm wearing today, I got that from a friend secondhand, and because she just decluttered her clothes, and thank you very much. But When I saw on the tag in the back that it's size small, I said, this is never going to fit me. And today I put it on for the first time and I had room to spare, so I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. So I'm still working on this and trying to realize every single day that this is my new truth. So for me, I would even say that the weight loss itself, those 4 years of my weight loss, were the easy part. And that probably sounds really stupid to a lot of people, but now keeping the weight on a stable level is for me much more of a challenge because I knew how to lose the weight. I knew how to work out. I knew how to control my calorie intake and all of these things because that is so basic and you find so much information on that. But that is all I knew. And once I reached my level of weight that I wanted to have, I felt like I can't stop. I can't stop. How do I do that? Because I was so scared of gaining weight back and of being fat again and of, I don't know, to find this balance of having a higher calorie intake in order to not lose weight anymore and to be stable, but to not gain weight any. It freaked me out. And I don't know, I wish there would have been someone to be with me, you know? I don't know. Like, I'm here for you. If you're at that stage, I'm here for you. And we can totally, I don't know what we can. it's it's hard. It is very hard. And I really feel like you need to know that because that is a challenge that comes your way that you need to know. And I have now some experience in that regard because I've kept my weight down now for over a year. Oh no, it's more than that. It's almost 1.5 years. But I'm still not sure that I can do this. And I know I can do it and I know I will because I am that kind of a person that I'm like a dog that doesn't let go of the bone in everything I do. And that is also very hard to, being with Leora, it's not easy. But I'm leeching onto my problems and I'm gnawing at them till I get results. And that's how I am with my work, with my studies. That's how I am with my relationship. That's how I am with my weight loss and all issues that I have in my life. And it's very, very intense. And right now, I'm just burning calories, just being intense. I don't even need to work out anymore because I'm just burning calories like here and there and everywhere. So but that's how I achieve stuff and that's how I know how to be. But on the other hand, I also know I need to relax, I need to calm down, but I don't know how to do that. So this is where I'm at right now, and this is where I'm trying to learn and finding the balance, not only in my body, but also in my soul and in my mind. The other thing that is maybe totally weird for you is that I constantly had to touch myself, like going like this. I constantly had to feel myself, and that was something that I just needed to do in order to feel my body. Like I was going like this and checking, is there too much fat? Is there fat or am I really, really thin? And now I don't need to do that anymore because I'm sort of in a place of getting there that I'm realizing that I'm okay. But that was in the first part after my weight loss. In that first stage, that was very, very important for me that I constantly checked and constantly checked in the mirror. And I've read that in the internet from a lot of people that they went through that stage. And yeah, so I experienced that too. And I guess it's okay. I mean, you don't have to do it in public. But I was constantly checking up on myself. And while that is going into the direction of another obsession and maybe even like a not good direction in anorexia and things like this. But I think you have to go through that stage. You cannot get stuck in that stage, but you have to go through that stage, because your body needs to find itself and your mind needs to find the body again. So I think you can allow yourself all those stages, just don't get stuck in them. Another thing that is up until this day very, very hard for me and impacts my family a lot is that I cannot eat in restaurants anymore. Because I've set this rule for myself of very healthy food, and salads in restaurants are not healthy. I'm sorry, they're not. I mean, not healthy enough for me at least. The dressings are with sugar, and I'm not even I'm not using dressings at all. But I've had an incident where they actually absolutely lied to me. And I told them when I ordered my salad that I was suffering from gestational diabetes while I was pregnant with child number 5 and 6. And I said to them, I am suffering from diabetes and I need to not have any sugar and not have anything that pushes up my blood sugar. And I checked my blood sugar before I started eating, and I checked it 2 hours after I finished eating, like I'm supposed to do. And suddenly my blood sugar was over 300. And what was going on? From what I thought I was eating, there was no way that it could ever be that high. So it turns out, after I did the research with that restaurant, that they were actually washing the leaves of the lettuce in sugar water in order to increase the appetite of the customer. And I thought that it was so disgusting, and ever since I just stopped trusting restaurants, even on healthy issues, like on salads and stuff like this. I don't eat in restaurants anymore. I don't eat at weddings. I don't eat anywhere except if I can bring my own food. I cannot go to other people's homes to eat there. I didn't even eat when I visited my mom last December. I did not eat her food. I only ate what my own hands prepared, because I cannot trust anyone anymore. Maybe I'll grow out of it. I hope so. But it's very, very hard. When I go with my family to a restaurant, I either bring my own food, or we go early enough and then go home and put the kids to bed, and then I have my dinner. And that's a very sad place for a family. So I'm just telling you, I don't say that you're going to be like this. I'm just telling you that there are a lot of issues that I never thought there would be. But I will not step away from my standards that I have set for myself, that I will eat healthy, and there will not be a single piece of garbage that I will put in my mouth anymore, not for anybody. And I'm relentless. I will send back food, and I will reject food, and I will not, like, people, you know how people are, they try to make you feel guilty, and you're in someone's home, and come on, have a piece, and and it's so good, and for the company, and it's just one little piece, and whatever. And or if food has been ordered and I don't like it, and it's not fresh enough, or it's not, even if it's just pure vegetables, I will not eat it. I will not put anything in my mouth or let anything in my body anymore that is not perfect enough for me. So I'm a lot about perfection, and I'm a total perfectionist, and it's a killer. But but this is my standard, and I'm not moving away from that. And on the way, a lot of people get hurt by that. People who host you or who invite you, whatever. It is very hard. And people need to know that. Like, I tell people, this is what I do, and take it or leave it. But I'm not making excuses anymore, and I'm not moving away from my place, what I have defined for myself, what I want to do. The reason why, as an almost 40-year-old, my skin is the way it is because I'm not eating garbage and I'm not drinking garbage. And I just want to encourage you, because your body starts to repair itself. And to a certain extent, you can rejuvenate yourself. And I think that's amazing. And okay, so when I look very closely at the mirror, I see the lines here and the lines there, as I said, and there is stuff developing here. But hey, I'm almost 40, okay? So I see people in my own family who look much, much older, and they are younger. So I'm just saying, yes, you have to pay a price for it, but bottom line, after all that I've said right now, I don't want you to think it's a negative thing to lose weight. That's not the what I wanted to get across. But I want you to know the truth, what happened in my life. It does not need to happen to you, but that's the stage where I am at. But bottom line, I would do it again. I would do it again. I would do anything to do this. If I would be fat again, God forbid, I would do it again. And now I would know. Now I would know what's coming. So yeah, so I just really wanted you to know all of this. But really my conclusion of this whole thing is that yes, it's worth it. It's worth it. It's worth it on so many levels. Yes, you have to find yourself and redefine yourself and all these things. You have to work out a lot of issues that suddenly come up, also emotional stuff that maybe dates back to your childhood, where you have learned so many wrong things, or things that seemed to be right back then, but now they turn out to be wrong, and you just stuck with them because you were used to them. So it's hard when you are an adult and you suddenly have to redefine yourself. It's much easier when you're younger, but it is what it is. You have to make a choice. What's more important to you? And that's basically what it boils down to. All of my videos on this subject, it is your choice. Everything is your choice. And you have to make a decision. What is more important? And you want to give yourself a chance to have a different life, which has its own challenge. But let's face it, being fat has its challenges a lot, you know? So what do you want to choose? Those challenges or the challenges of a thin person? Everything is hard. Everything in life brings its challenges. But, you know, I think the challenges of my life now, I can embrace them and I can live with them and I can work through them. And I love my life now. I love it. And I would do it again and again and again. We're coming to an end, my ladies, but I want to share something very special with you. One of you has reached out to me a couple of days ago. Her name is Naama, and I'm allowed to mention her name. She has reached out to me, and I just want to share a conversation I had with her. And I'm going to read that because it was on one of my social media platforms that she contacted me. And I want to read that to you as an encouragement, because for me it was a huge encouragement, and I just thought that is so nice to share in that whole issue of weight loss. So I'm just going to read that to you, okay? So she said, "Hello, I wanted to reach out to you and say thank you. Your videos about changing your life have now changed mine. I wish I had words to express it, but yeah, I am changed. I would love to talk to you more if you are free." So once I saw that message, I answered her, "Hi Naama, that's amazing. Thank you so much for letting me know. Feel free to write me if you have questions." So she responded, "I don't have a lot of technical questions, but mostly I'm curious about this. How did you reprogram your mind to love yourself, your body? In other words, how did you begin acting like you were worth it?" So I responded, "Very good question. I'm actually still in the process. Every day I have to make a decision to live the way I'm choosing to be. I don't always feel like it. I have to make the choice and tell myself that that's what my reality is. I'm struggling a lot with a lack of self-love. Funnily enough, especially since I lost all that weight. But I'm learning, basically with my followers. Bottom line, it's a choice you make, and the more often you tell yourself, the more it becomes real." And then she replied, and that's the most amazing part of that whole conversation. She said, "Right there with you. I learned this weekend my 12-year-old son is now reaching the same stage with his weight. That sealed the deal. I took everything I heard you say and allowed it to work like a prayer through me. I promised him I would be the best role model I could be. He needs to learn safety in his body. Turns out so do I. I realized being fat is part of my story and identity. I have to write a new book, a new story of who I am without it and release everything my mom gave me with her fears. It's a lot, but man, am I grateful you exist. So, so grateful. Your story has helped me change already. Isn't that amazing? Like, I have goosebumps right now. The chat continued a little bit longer, but that was basically the bottom line of that chat, that she gained so much from my ramblings about this whole series, and that is amazing. It is amazing, and I'm so happy, and I just really hope that Naama, you you can do this. You can do this. And when those sinkholes open up, don't give in. Walk safely around them. Don't give in, and reach out to me. Feel free to reach out to me. Like, before you make a wrong decision, reach out, not even only to me, to someone. You know, like Esther, I told you last week about her, the one who was my nutritional expert. She said, before you start binge eating or eating for whatever sick reason, call me. Give yourself the time to call me. We'll talk. And if you then still feel like you have to binge, then binge, okay? But call me. And that's something you need. So I'm not always available, and obviously for a lot of people, I'm on the other side of the world, and the time difference is very hard, and when they are ready to binge, I might be sleeping. So I might not be the best person to reach out to in those situations, but find someone to reach out to who might be able to stop you. Find someone who sticks with you through this, who encourages you, who is good for you, and that will help you big, big time. So my loves, I think for now I'm done. I will, though, feel free to get back to this series whenever I feel like I have compiled enough stuff that I still want to talk about, and just make follow-up videos. And as I said before, you can always feel free to ask me questions, and I will then make a video out of that. So just, feel free to contact me in whatever way. You find all my information about my other social media in the description box down below, and I'll get back to that. But for now, I just want to take a break of this series, because next Thursday I really want to get back to makeup, and next Thursday is my next video of the Tribal Stone series, and I love that series, so I really, really want to do that. That video will also come with a big surprise, just let you know. So that's what we're gonna do. And I will get back to that whole topic of weight loss at some point here and there. But a lot depends on you, how much interest you have, and how much feedback I'm getting on this, and how many questions, and all of that. I also wanted to mention that from now on, already since my last video, I am putting all the things that I'm using for skincare and for my makeup look on that given day. I'm leaving all of that information, all the products and everything, in the description box down below, just so you know, because my passion for makeup has not subsided and actually a lot is happening in my life in that regard. So I just want to, still share. So if you want to recreate a look like that, for example, then you know what I've used. And if you want me to do tutorials on a certain look, then please let me know as well. Besides that, my next video will be, God willing, released on Monday with Lior's latest looks and a wrapping tutorial. Yeah, and as I said, the Thursday after will be my Tribal Stone series, yay. Other than that, please subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. If you like the content, let me know. Click on like, or let me know down below, or do both. You can share my videos on your own social media. Follow me on my other social media platforms if you want to. And this is it. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you will have some blessing out of this, what I've shared with you. I hope you did not get discouraged, because that was not my intention. I want to encourage you by all means to do this, because that is my conclusion of everything I said. It's a good thing. It's worthwhile. It's good, and you can do it. And that's what I want to leave you with. So till I see you again, hugs and kisses. I really love you so much. Bye.